That's okay. Everyone is here for this class, I think. But if you're tuning in right now here on YouTube, guess what? You have missed the first... You've missed some time. But that's not the problem. This is an introductory class, so you can catch up anytime. Yeah. Okay. So we're talking about interpretation, is that correct? Yes, we're talking about understanding the time and the moment things are taking place there. The predictions. Obviously, when a prophet comes in, an awesome thing is they predict the future, right? And so they're telling things that are to come that will pass. And so some prophecies only apply in that time, right? Because they're saying, hey, listen, there'll be the destruction of Israel. That doesn't mean Israel today is going to get destroyed, but back then, at that moment, Israel was going to get destroyed. So it was a prediction. Well, the predictions were conditional. It doesn't mean that they apply today. But if you look into the book of Isaiah, he says, hey, he talks about the death of a Messiah. That was a prediction to come, but not at that moment. And obviously now for us, we've seen, because the Messiah was Jesus who was to die and resurrect. In other books, it talks about the prediction of the final judgment, the final day that the Lord comes. Now, that hasn't happened yet. But that's a prophecy still yet to come that has not happened. So sometimes you get prophecies that have already taken place, that took place before they ever saw it in their lifetime, or that are to take place in this present moment, right? So understanding, interpreting the prophets can get a little bit tricky. And then some people here, you have to be careful with interpreting the prophets because some parts you take literally and some are a little bit spiritual prophecies, right? They combine together. Like for instance, when the Lord tells Abraham, count the stars, all these will be your children, right? He's referencing to the Israelites. But also there is another prediction in the midst of that, that one day we get engrafted into the family of the Jews. You don't become Jewish when you become Christian. You get baptized in Jesus' name, receive the gift of the Holy Ghost. No, that's not what happens. You don't automatically, you're not Jewish, okay? Don't let nobody tell you that. But you are a spiritual Jew. That means you've been engrafted into that family, into that promise. Yes. Now where are we going? Criteria of a prophet. Criteria of a prophet. Like your CV. If you want to apply for a prophet, what do you think? What experience do you need to be a prophet? Folks, somebody tell me what time this class finishes. 3:15. Oh, we got plenty of time. Okay. Criteria of a prophet. Here's the thing. If you're going to become a prophet, you probably want to be a little bit brave and a little bit bold. Is because people are not going to like you. Usually, I'm not very fond of people who like to point out my errors. Okay, I don't get excited when some, the people who are just like, you need to fix that, you need to stop doing that, and why are you always doing that? When I see those people, I'm not going, oh, I can't, you're here. I go and hide in a room. I'm like, I wait for them to leave. And that was a prophet, and most people did not like prophets because a prophet came to spoil things. We're just having fun. It's just a little bit of sin, and the prophet's like, no. Thus saith the Lord. You need to stop. And so nobody liked prophets. As a matter of fact, sometimes people would try to stone a prophet. They didn't just hate, like they would say, we don't like you. Now, here's the thing, guys. You're not talking about a few people. You're talking about a whole nation not really liking you. Have you ever had a whole nation not like you? I have like 2 people not like me, and that affects me. Imagine a country not liking you because of the words that you're speaking. That was the situation, that was the crisis they would find themselves in. But here's another thing, is if you are a false prophet and you said something and it never came to pass, the law was that you need to be stoned to death. Now here's the thing. Better to be just a prophet for the Lord And if people don't like you, that's okay. And if people are trying to stone you, as long as you have God on your side, that's the most important thing. So, number one, if you are a prophet for the Lord, you need to be a bit bold and you need to trust that the Lord has a plan. And here's the other part about being a prophet for the Lord, is sometimes God is going to ask you to do some really crazy things. Okay? And that's what we learn, the prophets. Is that God is going to ask you to do some really, really, really ridiculous stuff. And this is where you trust and say, God has a plan, God has a purpose, there's a method in the madness. Okay? You know, for instance, we see one prophet has to prophesy naked to illustrate that he's going to strip the people of their power, of their things that they trust in this world, of the materialistic things. And he says, now imagine this, guys. Sometimes I'm like, I'll do anything for you, Lord. I'll die for you. He's like, well, can you preach for me naked? I'm like, oh, hey, come on. No, I don't want to do that. I tell you what, you'll never forget that sermon. I was like, hey, you remember that guy who preached naked? It was crazy. I don't remember what he said, but I just remember that was crazy. Right? You have a prophet who the Lord asks and says, hey, I need you to go marry a prostitute. I'm sorry, but if somebody told me that today, I'm like, you're crazy. Like, I'm sorry, what? God told you to do what? With who? I'm sorry, excuse, what? You know, or if the Lord said that to me, I'm going to need like the Lord to say it with an audible voice and like about 600 people to confirm that word. Before I go with that plan. But for some reason, these prophets trusted in the Lord and said he has a purpose, he has a plan, and there's a method in the craziness. I don't know why, I can't explain to you how or why. I don't know, imagine a prophet trying to explain to you why he has to preach naked. Or a prophet trying to explain to you why he has to sleep on his one side for a couple of years. Or a prophet who has to explain to you is like, hey, listen, check this out. I'm the pastor of the church, but I had to marry a prostitute. Anyway, service is on Sunday. And so you just had to trust in the craziness of the Lord's ways sometimes. And that's the criteria of being a prophet. Anybody feeling the need to be a prophet today? You want to hand in your CV? I'll do anything. I'll go preach on the streets with just a piece of cloth around me. Alright, we got one. Send them, Lord. Send them Sunderland. It's cold there too. It's real cold in Sunderland. Hello. The Lord's calling Sister Blessing. The Lord's calling her. It's alright, it's alright. Just answer the call. Answer the call. Jesus is phoning you out. That's okay. Alright. Where we at? Criteria of a prophet is there had to be a man of God. Obviously. That's important, that you know who God is and you're a man of God. If somebody comes and tells you, oh, I'm a prophet, but I'm not a man of God, just rebuke them right there. In Jesus' name, get out of here. Okay? So, criteria of being a prophet, you have to be, I feel like that's obvious, but I'm just going to say it just in case we're not sure. Make sure that they're reading the Bible and they're praying, okay? Like, that's just the basic stuff. Maybe, like, even throw in fasting, alright? That's important. A prophet, again, was a seer. Before they said anything, they received a vision. They received insight from the Lord. And a prophet wasn't just saying what he wanted to say. He was declaring God's word. So it wasn't just his own thing, right? It wasn't just a clever speech he came up with, but he was actually just declaring the word of God. And some people didn't like it. Some people threw rocks at you. Now, I think, you know, sometimes we have it easy. Like if somebody asked us to speak or to preach, like it's not happened to me yet. Nobody's thrown a rock at me while I preach on a Sunday. But imagine how hard that would be on Sundays to preach. Like, hey, who wants to preach this Sunday? I'm like, nah, I'm still recovering from that other rock that they threw at me. Right? So anyway, criteria for a prophet. Who's working on that? There were in somebody find for me 2 Peter verse 1 to 21. I mean chapter 1 to verse 21. 2 Peter chapter 1 verse 21.
2 Peter chapter 1.
Yes.
Verse what? 21.
Yeah.
For the prophecy came not in old time by the will of man, but only men of God spake as they were moved by the Holy Ghost.
Yes. It says, hey, the prophecy never just came by the will of man. It came in God's timing, and God spoke through them, right? So make sure if you're going to be a prophet, it's not you. It's the Lord speaking through you. Because if it's not you, guess what? We're going to stone you. No, we won't do that now. It's illegal. But just don't do that. You're going to get in a lot of trouble by the Lord. You're not self-appointed. Again, that's another one. You're not self-appointed. You don't wake up tomorrow morning and just go, today I'm Prophet Jim. Today I'm Prophet Chris. What's up? It's not Sister Chris. It's Prophet Chris. Kira, you're not just walking around there. Like your second name now is Prophet. Kira Prophet. KP. That's it. That's right. That's okay. Are you texting Jesus on that phone? That's what you're doing. Alright. Prophet. They're right there. I can see you. Great stuff. Alright. Not self-appointed. Somebody read for me the book of Amos. Amos chapter 3 verse 7. How about Kira? I think that's what you're looking up on your phone. Were you feeling that? That's what prophecy is. You like know it before I say it. So Amos chapter 3 verse 7.
What am I reading?
Number 7, surely the Lord.
Surely the Lord God does nothing unless he reveals his secret to his servants, the prophet. Is that it? Or
Do you want number 8 as well?
No, just verse 7.
Surely the Lord God does nothing unless he reveals his secret to his servants, to the prophet.
Alright, thank you. Amos goes as far as saying the Lord does nothing without sharing his secrets to the prophets. Isn't that crazy? You'd think God, who created the whole universe, right, sits on it like his footstool, says, I do nothing without first converting with the prophets to speak it forth. That's crazy. That's some serious teamwork that he has with us. Now, some things we need to cover real quickly is while we read the prophets, the word oracle will come up a few times. It says the oracle of the Lord. I spoke an oracle, an answer. An oracle simply means a response by God. It's a response. God responding. You send a message to somebody, they respond back. You send a text, they respond back. You send a letter, they respond back. Right? You can't think of any other forms of communication. Other than that, it's a response. That's what the oracle means. Is the prophets will say, I have an oracle from the Lord. What they're simply saying is, I have a response from the Lord. Since you guys wanted an answer. They would speak an oracle. The Lord would answer through an oracle. The voice of God came through the prophets. The prophets spoke it, but still it was God speaking through them. Next part is why is prophecy important? Why is prophecy important? Why is it important? Why do we have prophets? Why do we have these prophets to come? It's because prophets, in a sense, would be like an evangelist. They came to see behaviors change. They came to see people turn away from their sin. They came to see people repent. That was the point of a prophet. They didn't just come to predict the future and amuse people. They were like, hey, this is going to happen in like 5 days. Who wants to see it? Hands up. No, but he was there to see people's lives change. They didn't just come to prophesy, but they wanted people to turn away from their sins. They wanted behaviors to be changed. They wanted lives to be transformed. That was the reason prophets came. That was the reason for a prophecy, to bring revival. Now, before we, as we're coming to a close here, who can tell me about who was the earliest prophet mentioned in the Bible? Who was the earliest prophet mentioned in the Bible?
Probably Noah.
Ooh! That's pretty close. I like that. I'll give you that. Fine. That's a good one. Okay, you got me. You got me. Well done. Well done. But I'll change the question. Who received the title prophet for the first time in the Bible?
Elijah.
Ah, Melchizedek. The order of Melchizedek.
But you're good. That was a good one about Noah. Well done. You passed the class. You don't have to stay anymore. Go.
Yay! Bye.
What was the answer? Someone say something?
Who was it? I said something about after the order of Melchizedek. Was that?
Oh, no. Yes, Melchizedek is quite a controversial figure because some people are not sure. Is he an angel? Is he a theophany? Is he a king? Is he actually God himself? But no, he doesn't get the title prophet. The first time we hear somebody being called a prophet, he's the one and only. You've heard about him. He was famous. He came down and he split the Red Sea. The one and only
Moses.
Moses.
Yes, everybody got it. It was It was Moses. The first time we hear this is Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 15 to 19, I believe, is where we hear the first time the term prophet being used, and Moses was termed as a prophet. Again, you have so now here's the thing. There's a lot of prophets in the Bible, but some of them didn't write books, right? Elijah was a prophet. Elisha was a prophet. They don't have their own books, but they were still prophets. And let me see, cover some things. Is false prophets, again, false prophets come to introduce idol worship. Their goal is not to get people to worship God. They want to divert the people's attention to other things. And usually, any predictions that they made never came to pass. They would be like, thus saith the Lord, in the year 20,000 something, this will happen. And then the day comes and everyone's like, hey, that didn't happen. Stone him. No, we don't do that anymore. So again, if you take anything from this class today, don't be a false prophet. Let God speak to you and then declare it. Okay? And trust in Him. Real nice thing here with other prophets is you had so many different prophets, so many different voices, but one message from one God. Different prophets, different people, one message from one God. The same God speaking through all these men. And so we'll close off with this. So get ready to take this down. This is the line of the prophets. This is the sentence. If anything else, write this with passion. Write this with conviction. Go get a tattoo of it. I'm joking, don't do that. A perfect God used imperfect men to bring a perfect word to imperfect people. That is the story of the prophets. Is that a perfect God used imperfect men to bring a perfect word to imperfect people. Hey, we're just having a class here. That's alright, that's alright. Somebody just walked in, they got scared of the anointing that's
God
happening.
use imperfect man to bring a perfect
word to imperfect people. There you go, folks. You can use that. Don't even have to say it was me who told you. Just say you made it on the spot. It's cool. Free of charge. Because you're paying your tuitions. Okay. Any questions about prophets? Any statements about prophets? Anything about prophets? Anybody?
Was
Any,
there a question?
No, I asked, does anybody have a question about prophets? Would anyone like to say anything about the prophets? By the way, let me clarify. This is just a rendition of what I think the prophets wore. They probably didn't look like this. It was probably not this stylish, right? Don't be thinking Moses be cutting about like, hey, I'm about to part the Red Sea, boom, I'm out. It probably didn't look like this. Any other questions for the prophets? Anybody? Don't be shy. Give it a try.
Hi, Maria. Is that what she said? No.
Hey!
Nice to meet you again.
How you doing?
This is our Bible school helper.
Aw, look at that.
He's done 3 years.
Yes, we had a blast in 3rd year together. We had a blast in 3rd year together. I'm saying that like you don't speak English. Okay.
He's trying to talk.
Thank you very much, Kira. I am trying to talk. Gosh. You'd think I was a teacher in this class. Okay, if nobody has any questions, we're going to be, may I see your thingy-me-bob again? Cheers. For our next class, guys, we are looking at, we're examining the context and the character of the man Isaiah. This class will probably be easier and much smoother if you read the book, right? Whoever thought? And for all those who are doing achievement, basically you have to, as part of your assignment, is read the book of Isaiah. Now, crazy thing, right? We're in Bible school. We're reading the Bible. What are the chances? Okay, so just read the book of Isaiah next time I see you. All right, you have a whole month to read it. And I don't mind, guys, if you listen to it as well. But if you're going to listen to it, listen to it. Don't like play it while you're half asleep. Listen, or read, whatever is best for you. But Book of Isaiah next month when we meet. Other than that, that is the major prophets. God bless you, and I'll see you next month.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Yep.
I'm swimming.
Alright, what's up this one here? That's okay. That's for those extra prophets. Right, people, have a good... Oh, who's your next teacher? That will be Anne Crouch. Where is Anne Crouch? 3:15. What time is it? She should be here right now. Is Anne Crouch online? I believe so.